we're just carrying forward with our normal schedule at this point, and working hard and getting ready for a big challenge Thursday night against the undefeated Steelers. Okay, so what questions do you have?
Hey, John, it's Jerry Sandusky, WBAL. Did you say your facility is reopened or is it closed? I'm a little confused on the status of your facility and your practice schedule.
Open. Facility's open. It was closed this morning. They went through the contact tracing, the normal procedure that they do, and we're working now, and we were working virtually this morning while it was not open, and they did their process, and the NFL and the people worked really hard at that, did a great job, and just followed all the the trails of everything they had to do, and we're back. We're meeting and we're working today, getting ready for the Steelers.
Hey, John, this is Jameson. Do you know if all the contact tracing has been completed, or do you know if any other players might get identified that might need to self-quarantine because of this?
It's all been done. It's all completed. There's no other players. I think, to that point, I guess it's a credit to our players and our coaches. It's no coaches were involved at all, and no players. No, well, there is one other player that is in the 5-day deal, Brandon Williams. I think he'll probably be on that list too. Now that I think about it, but there's nobody else besides that, and nobody else that has it. I think our players did a great job on the sideline with the masks. Great job in the locker room. They tried to follow the protocols throughout the game, and then throughout the weekend at the hotel and in the meetings during the week. Our guys have done a good job of that, so I'm appreciative of them for that. And that's probably the thing that gives us a chance to play this game on Thursday night, was the guys doing a great job of that here in the building and at the game. Other questions?
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
Pete Gilbert here. I guess obviously that puts a focus on Gus Edwards, and considering the success that he had, not at the end of last year in the regular season against Pittsburgh, that's certainly, and the way that he has played this year, I suspect you still remain confident in your run game, no doubt.
Oh, of course, absolutely. The run game is always a group effort. All 11 guys are involved in that, certainly, and I'm sure we'll run the ball on Thursday night.
Hey, Coach, this is Darren Haynes from WSA 9 in DC. This is now a second week that you had to deal with the COVID-19 positive test. How frustrating has it been as a coach dealing with this uncertainty of every single week there could be a positive COVID test?
Yeah, I don't really have a frustration meter. It's not the way that we think. I don't think you can afford to think that way in football, or I don't think it's real productive in life. So just meet it as we find it, deal with it, and make the best of it. That's what we're doing, and our guys are doing a good job with it.
Hey, John, this is Kyle Barber of Baltimore Beatdown. Just want to confirm the game is as scheduled for Thursday. There's no movement in there.
No movement.
Thank you.
Hey, John, this is Childs at the Sun. In terms of looking at the game yesterday, I know the thing you were talking about in terms of defense after the game was the tackling, but after taking a closer look, were there other systemic things that you saw that bothered you in terms of what happened in the last quarter and overtime?
Clarify systemic.
I'm sorry?
What do you mean by systemic things? Trying to get at what you're trying to. I don't understand the question really.
You're on mute, Child.
Sorry. Just any overall problems. I mean, you pointed to the tackling. Did you see any other sort of trends in performance that stood out to you in terms of the defense?
Right. Yeah. No trends. I thought our linebackers did a better job. Patrick Queen and Malik Harrison both grew a lot from the last game to this game in terms of run defense. They were playing downhill. I think Derek Wolfe played outstanding. He was really, really, really good. Justin Ellis played really well. And Matabuki played pretty good, and Broderick, and they probably had their moments, at times where they got, where they got blocked or not, but they're young guys. But it was not like there was not any kind of a situation where we were getting, regularly overpowered or anything like that. We didn't lose the edges with any consistency. We held the edges mostly. They rolled a couple through there in the fourth quarter for a few yards into the C gap, which is what they do. They might have caught us in the front where we were tucked inside the C gap, which is just part of it because you're mixing those fronts up and they check their runs. So we stopped a lot of those too. So it wasn't like no, I didn't see any major issues. I thought we played pretty well. Would have liked to have finished it in the fourth quarter better. The boots. I think they got about 4 boots out there for yards. Whether he ran once or twice and threw a couple, that hurt us to keep some drives alive. Those are the things. Most of the things that they got on us were well executed by them. I don't think there was anything too much in there that was not good by us, except for the tackling.
Hey John, this is Daniel from the Baltimore Sun. Kind of a two-part question. We saw late last week, Trace McSorley was placed on the reserve COVID list. Do you expect him to be reactivated? And then in that same vein, Des Bryant took his spot on the active roster. Just looking back at the film, what do you see from him?
Who'd you mention on the COVID list?
Trace McSorley.
Trace McSorley. Right. Well, that wasn't the change. Des was brought up. Oh, you mean as a COVID for the 53 as a replacement? Okay, so right. I'm not sure what the relevance of that is, but what I see from Des going forward, just keep building on it. We'll keep building on it, and we'll just see where it goes. I thought he made some good plays. Had especially one toward the end. That was a very valuable play for us, catch and run on the last drive, and had a couple of look passes, that he caught out there and got a few yards on. So it's positive. There's lots of things he can do better. He and I texted back and forth about those things this morning. So very determined to be the best player he can be at this stage, and we appreciate that about him.
Hey, Coach, Todd Carper from SI. Patrick McCarry, I think, looked pretty good snapping the ball yesterday. Did he play well enough to earn another start there, or is that going to be a fluid situation moving forward?
Well, we'll just see. We'll just see and try to establish it as we go here. I don't really feel like announcing our starting lineup, going forward until it's more established.
Hey, John, this is Aaron at Penn Live. Just some. I don't know if you're open to talking about Calais Campbell, whether or not he's willing to play, and also we saw you claim Devontae Harris off waivers last week. Is he possibly able to join the team this week based on the testing and stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's possibly able to join it based on the testing. Of course, he's an experienced player. Corner is a position where he's been hit with injuries. So how much he can do for us remains to be seen. We'll see. It's hard for me to say right now exactly what he'd be ready to do, but I think in 3 days you can get guys ready to do certain things for sure. And we'll see about that. What was the other part of the question?
Calais Campbell, we saw him out there stretching pregame. I don't know if you had any update on his ability.
Yeah, I think it's just we're gonna have to see about that. It's I'm sure hopeful. I can tell you that. Sure hopeful.
Hey, John, it's Luke Jones with WNST. On the offensive line, Ben Powers started at right guard. We saw him play a little bit last week, but he got his first NFL start. I know he's someone that you guys had high hopes for last year, so I wanted to see how you thought he did.
Yeah, I thought he did pretty well. He's a fighter. He moved his feet well. He's a good athlete. Had a lot of good blocks and tenacious guys. Going against 2 good tackles, and those guys are very physical players. And I thought he held his own quite well. And sure, there's plays he could do better at too. But it was a good start for them.
Hey, John, it's Mark Viviano. Following the game yesterday, a couple players made note of the need for greater effort and suggested that maybe the Titans wanted the game more. When you hear that as a head coach, any reaction? Do you concur at all?
No, I don't think I saw anything about effort. I mean, I watched the tape, and the effort was outstanding. I mean, our guys are playing very, very hard. I mean, all you got to do is watch the tape or watch the game. You can see that. It was a very hard-fought game. They played very hard, too. I mean, it was 2 teams that were going at it. And they made the plays at the end to win the game. They finished the game better than we did. They were able to finish drives. We weren't. They were able to get stops at the end, and we weren't. That's the bottom line of the whole thing. So, a throwaway line like they wanted it more cliche like that. I mean, I don't agree with that. I don't really think. I think you're talking about Lamar's quote, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you ask Lamar, he'd kind of just shrug his shoulders and say, hey, after the game, he's just trying to find something to say. It's not It's not trying to be indicative of anything. It's any deep-seated thing. He's out there competing his heart out. And then, guys are supposed to go into press conferences and parse their words like Bill Clinton, that's really not, it's not what guys do. Guys are athletes. They're trying to compete and play, and then everything they say gets minced. So I don't take it too seriously. That's kind of meaningless.
Hey, John, this is Kevin
Maybe you
Richardson.
all like the Bill Clinton reference right there, right? Huh? The Bill Clinton reference? Did I get a thumbs up on that?
Yeah, got it. Hey, this is Kevin Richardson with the Baltimore Sun. With the amount of practices you have with tackling, or I should say, not a lot of practices, how do you guys go forward in improving the tackling of the defense when you only can have for so many practices where they're physical, where they can tackle?
Yeah, it's not the issue. I mean, our guys know how to tackle. We tackled for most of the game very, very well. I think toward the end, we weren't able to finish it. However, for whatever reason, it was a tough, hard-fought game. I think there's a lot of ways to do that. We can, hey, if it's our offense can stay on the field, and keep the lead and extend the lead. On defense, we can get off the field on third down, then those plays aren't going to come up at all. So, basic thing to do is to put yourself in position where, you don't have to defend a bunch of plays at the end. So, yeah, we can tackle better in those situations, but it's not from lack of knowing how to tackle or anything like that. It's not something that we need to be in pads every day to get ready to do in a game. So we just need to do it better in the game situation. These are professional players. They certainly know how to tackle. Well, they wouldn't be on our team if they weren't good tacklers.
Hey, John, this is Jameson. I'm sorry. At the beginning, I know you said the facility was closed this morning. Were you able to do anything as a team this afternoon when the facility got opened?
Yeah, guys are in offensive and defensive meetings right now, and we had a team meeting that I orchestrated, and then after that we'll have a walkthrough that we'll be doing. The meetings have been virtual, and the walkthrough will be masked, and that's what we're doing.
And I mean, I know with the whole protocols, it's kind of confusing sometimes, but with JK and Mark, I know they have to quarantine for 10 days, and I kind of counted it out. It looks like they could be available next Wednesday by my math. Do you know if they would be available for for the Cowboys game or not?
I don't know. I haven't really thought that far down the road, to be honest with you. I think if you do your 10 days, it sounds to me like you're right about that. I can leave that for the organization maybe to answer, or I'll answer it next time we do a press conference after I ask them. But I think you're probably right about that.
All right, guys, we'll do two more for Coach.
Hey, John, this is Aaron Kazantz at Penn Live again. Back on the topic of Lamar. Lamar has kind of said that he likes to lead by example more than vocally, but we saw him give the speech in the pregame huddle before the game for the first time. Have you noticed him maybe trying to take on a little bit more of a vocal role these past couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, I think I wasn't there. I'm not out there for the pregame speech on the field, but so I didn't know that until I read about it. But it's great, He's a lot more of a vocal leader than he probably wants to give himself credit for. He's always talking to the guys, and he's got his ways of doing it, which I really appreciate and respect. Very one-on-one type of a thing. Also, in the group setting, he's a real animated and involved with guys. So that's how he does it. So I would say for Lamar, just to he'll continue to be who he is, be true to his own personality, and he'll be a leader that way.
John,
John Schaefer with the Baltimore Sun. When we ask Lamar about Hollywood and his production, he says that it goes back to practice, and it's, the foundation is established there. Is what you've been seeing the past couple of weeks, I mean, does it surprise you that it's not translating over to the game time? I know he still has an effect on defenses, like on that Mark Andrews throw, but have you seen what you've needed to?
Well, we want him to be a huge part of the offense. We've got to find ways to get that done. I mean, he's practicing. He's playing very hard, and we just have to get that done. Mark, Lamar, and Hollywood have to get that done, and we as coaches have to get that done. Create those situations to put them in position to make those plays. I mean, we understand that. We've got to find that. That's just too important for us. I mean, those are big plays to be had, and Hollywood's very talented, as is obviously Lamar and all of our guys. So I really want to see him involved, and it's not like we're not trying to get it done. They do take him out of it sometimes. Sometimes other things happen, but that's important for us. You know, we've got a lot of football left to play, and we want him to be a big part of it.
Okay, Coach. Appreciate your time. We got to let Coach get ready for the walkthrough to the media. We'll be in contact with you for availabilities going forward. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.